And hello everybody, welcome to Bruce Dick's Music. I just wanted to kind of chime in on this whole Fender situation. You know, if you haven't heard, I mean, it's only a few days in now, but I think probably by now it's considered old news. You know, the fact that Fender has successfully copyrighted the shape of this guitar. Now this is just an old beat up Squire Stratocaster, but it's this shape that has caused all the commotion. And you know, Fender's saying, well, nobody else can build a guitar shaped like this, you know. And so I wanted to kind of chime in on some thoughts that maybe not everybody has been thinking about, you know. And you know, maybe, I don't know, give a maybe kind of a more balanced viewpoint of it, because there's a lot of people that are very angry, it seems, at Fender, saying they're going to boycott Fender. I'm not going to buy Fenders anymore. I'm not going to play Fenders anymore. I'm done with Fenders. Now, personally, I may not be the best person to be talking on this subject, because I don't actually play Stratocasters. This is the only Strat I own, actually. This was given to me. Rather, this is what I play, good old Telly. But would this be the next target? You know, is this what Fender's going to go after next? The Telly shape, and then after that, maybe the P-bass shape, maybe the Jazzmaster shape. I don't know. But anyway, as far as the subject of boycotting Fender and saying I'm not going to buy any more Fenders, to me, you got to think about this. It seems to me there's two groups of people involved here. First of all, you've got corporate Fender, whoever those people are, and you know, they're probably up in a high-rise office building someplace, maybe on the 75th floor, I don't know. And they're the ones who undoubtedly made this decision, and they're the ones that you're wanting to punish, right? Okay. But then you've got this other group of people, and these are the guys in the factories in Corona, California, in Mexico, and you know, they make their living building the guitars. Now, if you drop this atomic bomb on Fender, you're going to have some collateral damage, because if you hurt Fender as a whole, you're also going to be hurting those people in that factory. You're going to be hurting the guy that is responsible for sanding these necks. You're going to be hurting the guy that solders in the pickups, okay? The guy that puts the finish on. And, you know, I think you need to think about that. And there's drama that takes place in these businesses and corporations. And you all remember the CBS thing, you know, it's like pre-CBS, post-CBS, you know, and that all happened. Gibson had the same thing with Norland. Well, they're building cheap guitars now. You know, stuff kind of goes like this. I'm not defending Fender in any way for what they did. I think it's a bad decision, just bad, bad, bad. I think it's already blown up in their face. I think it's, at the very least, going to bruise Fender's reputation. And I believe that the people up here, the corporate Fender, and the people here in this room, me, a guitar player, there's this huge disconnect between those two. And I don't know how many companies Fender owns. So, you know, I guess it's tough to be, you know, somebody up here and to still really have a sense of the heartbeat of the guy who's playing gigs, playing, you know, the guitars. So there's that. You know, consider who you might be affecting if you decide to just boycott Fender. And, you know, and everybody's really trying to do their job. I mean, the guy up in that office building, his job is to increase earnings, increase market share, make the quarterly report look better. That's his job, just as much as it's the guy's job, you know, in California to get these frets installed properly, you know, to get this body sanded down nicely, whatever that guy does. Everybody's just trying to kind of do their job. So as far as being judgmental towards people, sometimes we sort of confuse evil with ignorance, and I think that's maybe not a good thing to do. I do believe it's a bad decision that they have made here, and I think they'll probably end up meeting in the middle someplace. But it just amazes me, how do you copyright a shape? That just kind of boggles my mind. A shape, what if Martin and Ditson had said, well, we're going to copyright the shape of a dreadnought? What effect would that have had on guitars, if the guy that invented the banjo said, well, you can't make any other banjos in the shape of a banjo. The guy that invented the harmonica said you can't build harmonicas that look like harmonicas. A bicycle, you can't build a bicycle with a diamond frame because that's the shape our bicycle is in. A tire, the guy who invented the tire says you can't build a round tire because that's our shape, and it's a work of art, and we've got a copyright on it. I don't know, it's like copywriting a color. Nobody else can use sunburst. That's our color. So maybe the headstock, okay, because the headstock kind of denotes the brand. I understand that, and I understand there are copycats that actually put the Fender name on here, and that's wrong. That's just counterfeit, But when you're talking about companies like PRS and Schecter, and companies like that, it's like, come on. So anyway, one of the most painful aspects of this whole thing is that Fender has demanded, after all these years, that copies have been made. This is nothing new, this is nothing new. After all these years, they're saying, if you've got any inventory, you have to take them and destroy them. And I'm thinking to myself, that is just so not rock and roll, to take guitars and destroy them. How disconnected can you be, from the people that are your core of customers? I just think that's wrong. But anyway, those are some thoughts I have on it. So, everybody's trying to sort things out. We'll see where it all ends. But thanks for listening. I appreciate it. And whatever happens, keep playing, keep jamming, keep rocking. Thanks.